I hope you all can hear me well. Okay, I'm not going to give a different perspective. Maybe I'm going to add more points to the data quality. I'm sure data quality means a heart to most of you people. If not, then you are in the wrong field. Data quality in the data mesh. The reason why I am talking about data mesh, what's the hot topic in data industry right now? If you ask anyone, AI or data mesh. I'm trying to get to the data mesh anyways. Okay, it's on the top of the list for sure. What is a data mesh? I just wanted to take you through 3 points. What is a data mesh? I'm sure most of you people are aware. If not, a data mesh is a domain oriented data owners and pipelines. The reason why there is a data owner here, it's quite important. If you don't have a data owner for a domain, then it's meaningless. I'm going to talk about it a little bit more in detail. We'll talk about it for next 20 minutes for sure. And then the self-serve functionality. Though the data is everywhere in the organization, how easy you can access it matters a lot nowadays, especially. And when it comes to the interoperability, that means, it's available and anyone can use the data. Obviously, access, security will come into the picture here, and the standardization of communications. When I mean a trade, I mean a trade. When I mean a transaction, I mean a transaction. But for telecom, the transaction could be different, and for banking, the transaction could be different. How we define it, and what's the taxonomy behind it is quite important. How is it important, the data quality here in the taxonomy as well, right? For example, I say my name is Bhagya and somebody can say Bhajya. So does that mean same? Maybe not. For some people, it is same. It's always how you defining the taxonomy is quite important there. So data mesh comes into picture where you are talking about all these aspects. And then on top of it, what I would like to ask is data mesh consisting good data quality? This is a top question I would like to ask any of your data architects or your designers or engineers. This is a phrase, I love it, definitely, because it is there from 1950s onwards, garbage in, garbage out. If you are not giving the good data, you are going to get the definitely bad results out for sure. So it's quite important. You need to have the good data. And when I say good data, for me, good data doesn't mean it's a good data for you, right? It's definitely different in different organizations. When I was working with energy and sustainable company, I was going through an IoT where I am looking at all the heaters, how much sensor information, what's the kind of the temperature. For example, right now it's pretty hot in here and now someone has to put a AC on. So that is like the sensor information you need to get out of the IoT. And if the data quality aspect of what's the value in the room is not right, then you're not going to get the right temperature. That is as simple example as that. I am really talking about that simple data quality that you can lead it to a complex data quality problems. Now, as I said, data quality as a key aspect to increase trust in whatever you do. For example, if I give you the data in like terabytes or gigabytes, it doesn't matter if the data is not trustworthy. So it's quite important, it has to be trustworthy. And trustworthy defined as a key principle and requirement for a data product in a data mesh. What is a data product? Could anyone give an example? What is a data product? Anyone worked in data mesh or known about it?
A machine learning model that's going into some downstream system.
Okay. Yes, definitely. Thank you for that. Any more? Yes.
It can be as simple as a cleansed data set in your data marketplace.
That's right. That's good. Or it could be customers, products, or even like, for example, you have transactions. This could be a data product. For example, I have all the customers' information available within like sort of like a 50 different systems. And I would like to know my customer base, how many customers I have. And if I wanted to get the data of the customers, I don't want to go and ask 500 different people to know that answer. I would like to get it straight away from the data mesh. So what do I have to do? Currently, every company publishes data. That's my second point in many places, which lacks information and also quality and trustworthiness of the data. Data quality management currently being differently implemented across, and you have different teams and they are going along. There are forums where you are talking about it. 50 people will be talking about the same thing again and again, wants to know where my data exists of customers' information. So how do I get it? You need to create such kind of platform, and the concept is the data mesh, where you are really talking about like how I can get that data and where can I put it. Right governance in place definitely needed in order for this to happen. And that's my experience altogether. And no transparency for data consumer for implementing data quality rules. For example, when it comes to the data, you talk about data consumers and data producers. If you haven't heard about it, it's quite famous now. Data producers are nothing but who are actually producing the data, whereas the data consumers are the ones who are actually receiving the data. So this is what the bridge between the consumers and the producers, and bringing the trust together, defining the data quality rules is what is needed. Without clear guidance on how to systematically implement it, everyone try their own way, and you will get again the thousands of systems with the different data sets. So you need to have that platform. Now the target state where we all would like to be there is, you need to establish a data quality framework which calls about all the data quality rules and the data products thought through business relevant data quality metrics. I'm saying it again, business relevant data quality metrics. You are not really talking about IT, or you're not talking about business. It has to be led by the business saying what do they need, and then the IT and technology team has to implement the rules behind that. So we all need to speak the same language. That is quite important. And when it comes to the governance that appropriately enables the successful management of data quality is quite important. The target state, this is where I would like to get about the data quality. You will have some time for the questions. I'm sure there will be questions around that. Let's see. The requirements and capabilities of how this data quality in the data mesh can happen is all about personas. You need to define the personas well. In case you are an organization of having like 50,000 people talking about the data mesh, you need to know who you are. Are you a data owner who actually, owns the data, and I am responsible? If something happens to this data, I would be seized by millions of dollars. So I am the data owner. And who is the product owner? Who defines the product? And I am the product owner who actually, runs this kind of a product. For example, I am launching a new deposits account of a fixed deposits, and it's going to give lots of profit for the customers and also a flexibility. This could be a product, and I would be the product owner for it. And the product owner and data owner sits together and discuss with the data management office to make sure the quality is in place and also the metadata is in place too. Dot. And now, when it comes to the real champions or heroes who actually define this, maybe I am biased because I was a data engineer and I'm a data engineer. So data engineer is quite important because they actually engineers the pipelines, get the data in and out, and implements the pipelines what is needed for getting the data from the source till the end of the transformation layer. And data producer consumer, I did talk about it a little bit before starting the session. So the producers and the consumers, I will give a real-time example. I have around like 500 plus data producers producing same set of data in a different way. For example, one of them is producing 2 fields extra or 2 columns extra, and they say like my data is better than the other data set. It's definitely a duplication happening, quite a lot of consuming, and especially we paying for the cloud and all of that. So you need to have this kind of a small things which you can correct it in order to make it more sustainable as well. And if I combine this into a DQ engine, you need to understand as a data engineer what I want. I want to able to run the pipelines in automatic fashion. Or if you go to the session in the morning about Adobe, you are seeing like a real-time analysis going on all the time. The sooner you produce the results, the better it's going to be. And without the data quality, if you produce the results, what will happen? It's a disaster. So do remember you need to have a data quality engine which could automatically runs it and produce the results and also produce the metrics to the business so they could see what's going on and validate it. As a data owner, I need to define the rules automatically. For example, at midnight, I think like, oh, I think the customers having age less than 18-year-old would need a special account, bank account. I just got an idea. And then I wanted to run, oh, how many customer base I have. This data quality metrics, if they can run automatically, you are saving the time and you are bringing the innovation factor into it as well. So it's quite important to give that flexibility to the consumers. Not only the consumers, the producers also start thinking about it. Now, as a data engineer, I need to develop and implement this data quality. What do I need? This is one thing I learned over the years. If you have to do some analysis, you need a data analyst. You don't need a data engineer to do that job. Please try to categorize and define what is analysis and what is engineering, and use the right set of skills and right set of people to do that work. This is quite important as well. If you are using wrong resources, you end up having wrong results. Also, you are wasting the money, your money, end of the day. And then as a data owner, what I want is I want to see the data quality score right away in front of me. I want to know how my either the systems are performing or my people are performing, and I want to see the score. Just give me the number, right? Always numbers won't go wrong. So it always good to see those. How do we get to the data quality score? I would like to put across these dimensions, the data quality dimensions. Completeness. Is my data complete? Is all the attributes available? The record level information is available? Yes, it is available. Oh, awesome. So now let's get to the validity part. Is my data stored in the right format? And is the data giving conflicting information? This is also quite important. If it is giving conflicting information, end of the day, your DQ score will be like the ranges from 10 to 90, which doesn't make any sense. You need to have that kind of a consistency. How does that happen? By defining the right data quality metrics across the business and also across the technology. Accuracy. Does the data accurately describe the real world, what is happening right now? It will be keep on changing. It won't be consistent. So you need to keep on getting that feedback from the people. Uniqueness. Is my data unique? Am I having the unique data, or am I having the repulsion and recursion of everything happening again and again? So you need to have that uniqueness of the data and then define the data quality on top of it. Timeliness. Is the data current or outdated? If you are performing the data models on the outdated data, for example, I would like to see the weather today, now, not last month's weather. I wanted to have the outdated information, just go in the archive and have the updated information right in front of me. So these are the quite important DQ dimensions, and they are there for years, and it still holds good even for the data mesh as well. Okay, as I mentioned before, there are 500 applications or 5,000 systems. It doesn't matter. You need to have a unique template which was defined by your governance team or the management team, consisting, these are the important factors which I came up after using couple of examples. Application, what is your application name? And how is your data quality state at the moment with all these factors? What's available? Where is it available right now and what's available? What is the target data quality state you would like to get to? Obviously, do run with your key performance indicators and also think about like what's your timeline looks like. You would like to have this in the next quarter or next year. You need to have that, obviously the timeline around that, and the roadmap, when do you need to get that, and the dependencies. If you could put all your company structure into this kind of an Excel, you are there. You first need to know where you are in order to implement the data quality. That's my kind of a strong message out there. I just try to maybe oversimplify it here, data pipelines for data quality, but it works well, I'm sure. You can try it. If not, just come to me. I'm happy to walk you through. The data quality source layer, you have a source layer where you are applying your data quality. Once it passes the source layer, you have a transformation layer where you are doing all the transformations which are needed for the data quality, especially applying all the attributes we talk about, the completeness, consistency, and all of that. And now you have master sources, which are nothing but you already know the transformation already happened, the changes already happened. And now you apply a data quality authoritative sources. That means you know that this data has already been qualified, quantified, and also authorized. Everything is ready. And now apply a transformation layer before it meets to the data product data mesh. If you miss any one of this step and going to take the data from the source layer to the data mesh, your results are not going to be right for sure. So this is like a simple kind of a takeaway thing which I would like to give. Try this data pipelines and see how it goes. Even if you have to skip one or two, you can skip the layers, but it's quite important to have kind of a data pipelines in place for the data quality. It's an important topic. One day my boss asked me, how can you say like the data is certified across? So I started thinking about it, how? And then started thinking like, what's the current problem? Why do I have to certify it? He said like, data mesh will become messy. Everyone starts putting their data without a taxonomy or without thinking about what's the future customer base would be. With all the data sets being repeated, replacing it again and again, duplication would happen, not addressing all the characteristics of data products. They are just trying to put the, for example, it's interoperability. Yeah, I am just enabling it to the HR systems. Oh, wait, you haven't done your homework yet. You haven't looked at all the data mesh qualities. You need to look at all the data mesh qualities before you put there. The solution for it, as simple as it sounds, it is complicated when you implement it for sure. Data is available in mesh, need to address all the data product characteristics, just to repeat, and registration process to make sure we have single copy of the data in the mesh. It is painful to go through this data registration process, but you can automate it for sure. We have automated it, and I'm sure you could think about it as well. How fast you could automate the data registration process for the data mesh, that's going to work well. Data products, accessibility, traceability needs to be there. For everyone in the company should be able to trace it. When does it started, where does it go, and who can access it, and all of that stuff. Data quality metrics, automatic data pipelines feed, I mentioned before, and data assessment regularly. So you need to do the data assessment. Though you place the data, you need to do the assessment. And important, consumer giving the ratings and comments for it. How far are they using it? Is it useful for them or not as well? Okay, looks like I have only 5 minutes left. Wow, I never thought I could talk this much about data quality. That's good. Okay, just the key takeaways. Data mesh is useful and will change the way you operate in the organization when you do it in the right way. Data quality is mandatory to implement it before data gets into the domain level to different parts of organization. So please do that. Mandatory data quality attributes needs to be standardized and implemented it in a more automated way. Don't leave it there in a manual way. Data governance needs to be in place to maintain the consistency and right approach. Those are my key takeaways. I will leave like 3 minutes for you for questions.